Hi, I'm Margaret. In this session, we're going to talk about the Observability Data Connector, part of our Puppet Enterprise Advanced package. The Observability Data Connector democratizes access to Puppet data that teams can use to make quicker and data-driven business decisions and improves productivity across your development and application teams by making it easy to understand what meaningful events happen in your estate and visualize this data in the observability tooling your company already uses. Over to you, Tony.
Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, I'm Tony Green. I want to take you through the Observability Data Connector. First and foremost, where do you find it? Well, it's on the Forge. It is part of Puppet Enterprise Advanced. It's installed and managed as a standard Puppet module. So there's nothing surprising there. All the details are in there. And it's actually really simplistic to get up and running. For those of you who are more technical bent, the Observability Connector or Data Connector is actually a report processor that uses Prometheus to be able to publish Puppet data. We all know that Puppet has an immense amount of data about your environment. Puppet facts on each server easily go 200 to 300 facts that are automatically kept up to date through Puppet runs and synced centrally. That data has always been available through the Puppet console, through the API. However, it felt sometimes that the access to that was, more difficult than maybe organizations wanted it to be, and it still existed kind of in a silo. What we wanted to be able to do is make that data available to everyone, to socialize that data into the environment and be able to make sure people can access it. The facts we have are obviously really important, but also how Puppet runs happen. What has happened in your environment? How long are the runs taking? Why are things happening in certain ways? We can see here, I had an aberrant run at a certain point where a correction was applied. Why was that? I wouldn't have known about that had I not scrolled back through the data. So I need to get the data connector up and running, and I need to see what's going on in my environment. In order to do that, it's standard Puppet work. So I'll come to my control repo, open up the Puppet file, and then for anyone around my age, here's one I made earlier. I've already got the Puppet data connector in my Puppet file. If you don't have it, just add it in there. Then you need to classify it. Your Puppet server can be classified through code or through the console. I'm doing mine through code. So I will look at a profile called data collector. The data collector profile simply declares the Puppet data connector class and gives it a drop zone directory. That drop zone directory is for Prometheus. That's where it will put all of the files that it will serve up. And we also declare a stale time. What I'm doing with the stale time there is saying any node that's gone offline in Puppet, so is no longer reporting, we will clean up. So it does its own housekeeping. Once you've actually classified and deployed that code and Puppet has run, on your Puppet server, within the directory that you saw, as your Puppet agents start running, you'll start to see files appearing here. One file per server, and all of these files are in Prometheus format. So if I look at the Ubuntu 2002 prod YAML file, I can see all of the data in there in a standard Prometheus format. The fact that it's Prometheus means, again, we can open this data up. We can pass it into other systems, whether that be Splunk, Grafana, Power BI, any system that you're using to visualize and observe your systems. We can now also take part in it, and we can give context. We can give information that's available to Puppet. And also for the Puppet administrators, you can find out what else is happening in the environment as you're doing this. In order to actually get to the data, we'll use a tool. In this case, we'll use Grafana. So Grafana has built-in Prometheus plugins. You point the Grafana plugin at your Puppet server, and we get the information that you can see here. Straight away, we can see how long it's been since the last report, what events have happened, how many resources we're managing over time. We can see how long each thing took. So fact generation took 5 seconds, config retrieval 1.89 seconds. So we can see a lot of information. We can also see information over time. So we can see here there was a big spike for some reason at this point. And we can see duration over time and resource enforcement over time. Now, again, looking at a server by server basis, that's good. That gives us some real clear information. But we don't have one server. We have a lot of servers. In order to take that next leg up, previously that would require an awful lot of work to consolidate that data. This is where Prometheus, Grafana, and the other tools really shine, because we're able to pull that information together seamlessly. So we have an environment here. I'm looking just at my production environment here. I can see I have 18 servers, nearly 9,000 resources, and I can see what changes has been enforced over time. I can see here that I had, until yesterday, some failures happening, and then I remembered I was doing a demo, so I should clear those up, and they dropped off, and I can see that. I can filter by environment, or I can actually look at all servers. So if I change to all servers, I can see 33 servers. I can see the stats change, and all of these statistics are available, synced directly from Puppet as the agents check in and as they're doing their normal work. This is a very simplistic implementation. Obviously, this data is available to you to do with what you need. There's also, as Margaret will mention soon, some other things we may be able to show you in a future video that means you may even be able to customize this stuff. So hopefully this has given you a good leg up on using the data connector. I think you'll find it very simple, very effective, and hopefully it will make decision making in your organization a little bit more data driven.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for walking us through that. And as Tony mentioned, there's a lot you can do to customize this data, answer specific questions, show the data that is important to you. So tune in to our second session soon for some of the customizability and some examples for you. And we're excited to share that with you. So check out session 2 coming soon. Thank you.